Ben Woodruff here with another falconry video. Today's video is going to be about disciplining birds of prey. Let me get this right off the bat. You can't discipline a bird of prey, nor should you try to. And I will explain why. This is actually a very important subject, and I hope giving you some greater understanding will help. Yeah, it's easy when we're researching falconry to leap right to the most exciting things, how to hunt or how to get them to fly to your fist or how to trap a bird. But some of these subjects, such as this, will help guide you to having a much more positive experience with your bird if you understand their thinking. Now, first of all, I have to say, when it comes to falconry, we are familiar with it. We, as a species, have language, we have writing, we have the internet, we have books, we can pass on information. Birds don't do that. They don't, my point is that we are aware of the existence of falconry and we can research it. When you get a new bird, they have no idea that falconry exists. They've never heard of it. They have no clue what you're trying to accomplish. For you, it's so obvious. Like, just hop 1 foot to the food. This isn't that hard. We're trying to build a relationship here. And the bird's like, I don't know what's going on. So be patient. Be very patient with your bird and with their way of thinking. So birds of prey are intelligent. They can think, they can comprehend a lot. They can problem solve their way out of situations. But at the same time, they are built for reactivity, for split-second reactivity, both to get them away from danger and also to help them pursue a food opportunity. That's normally good, but they can also be very reactive in a way that's fearful. So if you get a brand new bird, you have to remember that this is a whole new experience for them. If you get a trained bird from another falconer, it's still a new experience. They're meeting you for the first time. They're learning your facilities, and they're fearful. They may not exhibit that outwardly as much as you think, but inside, this is a change. Be respectful, be understanding of the way they think. Now, we, as humans, we're mammals, we're highly evolved, contemplative mammals, and we love to associate ourselves with other mammals that are like-minded. And we selectively breed and domesticate mammals to more exemplify that kind of thinking. Dogs are a perfect example. Dogs came from wolves. Dogs can still interbreed with wolves and have fertile young. But since the Ice Age, we have selectively bred them. And for almost all of that selective breeding until the past few hundred years, it was mostly based off who can help us hunt, who can be a good guard, who can be a good companion. We would favor attributes that were like us. If they're more cuddly and friendly, we're going to breed that wolf dog. If they're really aggressive and standoffish and undependable, and we're not going to breed them and pass on those genes. Even look at the facial expressiveness. We have intentionally selected dogs that had more expressive abilities within their musculature of their face. If you look at a wolf, a coyote, and a fox, and you see them trying to share their emotions and share what they are thinking, then they don't have the range of motion that a dog does. A dog comes up, roar, 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 roar. Their face is just super movable. They're much more emotive. We've selectively bred them to be that way because that's easier for us to communicate understanding and needs. Now, in addition to that, being social pack hunting mammals that we are and that dogs came from, we understand a certain level of discipline. Now, discipline kind of insinuates right and wrong. Take that out of the equation and just say there's things that are socially acceptable and not acceptable. Like, take a look at a wolf. Let's say you are a top wolf, and here comes one of the lower on the totem pole wolves, and you're eating, and they come up and want to steal a piece, and you're like, "Arr!" And they're like, "Oh, okay, all right, I understand. I'll wait until you're done." You can question whether that's right or wrong behavior. I don't care. The point is that a wolf, and therefore a dog, can understand, but there might be certain expectations. And you see that manifest today where, you see dog trainers who are like, or like doing a clicker like, hey, and, that's not a violent act, but the mind of a dog is set up to handle that. Same thing with people. When you're raising your children and your kid takes magic marker and draws all over the wall, and you're like, you're in trouble, you have to go in timeout now, and we have to talk about this. They can understand that. Birds aren't that way. Birds of prey most certainly are not that way. Birds of prey don't get that. So you need to preemptively understand that about them so you can have a successful relationship. You have to be the one to stay calm. If your bird, it keeps baiting and baiting and baiting, or they're aggressive, they grab you and, foot you and you're bleeding, you can't be like, you stupid bird, why did you claw me? It's like, no, you have to be like, okay, I will stay calm as I'm gushing blood, and I'm going to calmly pull these talons out. All we can do is positive reinforcement, acclimation, and socialization. If you reinforce positive behavior with a reward, which is with birds almost always going to be food. Hey, you flew back to my fist, giving you some food. Hey, I wanted you to catch that pheasant and you caught it, so I'm going to help open up the meat so you have access to it and let you crop up on it. You are rewarding positive behavior that you wanted. And negative behavior, you have to just roll with the best you can, reevaluate your training to try to avoid that in the future. Now, even though that's the case, birds of prey are intelligent over here, but they are also highly reactive over here. And because of that, I've seen that some birds can get themselves into a mental state of panic and of growing reaction where they're scared. Something trips them, they're like, huh? And they're just, nothing will calm them down, it seems. And it's not just like, well, I'll just roll with this. You got a bird who, maybe you got your bird in the yard and a fire engine drives by and that puts them in a panic mode. And then everything they see, the house, a car, a cloud, and they're freaking out. So how do you calm them down? Well, a couple of thoughts on that. Now, I see that especially with first-year birds, whether they're a passage bird or an imprint. So a couple of things that you can do to try to help this, and you remember these are not discipline. One is a hood. Now the point of a hood is to reduce visual stimuli, to cut out anything that might be reactive to them. Most birds of prey, Harris hawks less so, but most birds of prey are wired as such that if you cut out the vision, that you're shutting off 80 to 90% of their neural processing, and their brain just, they just relax. They just take it easy. So we use a hood most often when we travel. Other than that, we don't use it. But let's say you have a bird that has that escalating sense of panic. A hood, calmly put on the bird. Put it on for a few minutes, 20 minutes. Let them relax. Let their heart rate come down. Let their breathing go back to normal. And let their brain reset. And then you take off their hood, and they can be in a state of thought more than escalating panic and reaction. But if you do this, you just remember you can never use the hood as a punishment, or you're really mad, or you're really frustrated about something, putting a hood on you. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. I think everybody throughout their falconry career will have a moment where they're tempted to just shut up, bird, and you can't do that. You have to be respectful and use it for the proper purpose. Now, it doesn't have to be a hood. You can also put them in, a dark room for a few minutes, something like that. But the principle is the same. Reduce the outside visual stimuli, help them relax. Now, another thing you can do, I especially find this to be valuable with big falcons and with eagles. For some reason, if they are in panic mode, where they can't even get themselves down, even if you walk away and you're nowhere near them, they just keep getting them wet under their wings or on their feet or in between their legs or their lower belly feathers, for some reason helps them. They're like, okay. And their brain resets. I don't know why. Hoods make sense to me. This one doesn't make as much sense, but it does seem to calm them down. Now that could be done with a spray bottle, carefully put under their wings, lift their wing a little and spray to get it wet under there. You could help them take a bath in their bath dish, or even a hose put on a very low setting. You could lift up their wings and spray. But however you do that, if you choose to do that in a situation that's appropriate, again, do never do it out of frustration. You need to do it out of, oh, I see my bird its panic level is escalating, and I want to help it calm down. And almost immediately, for most large falcons and eagles, that can put them in a reset. So, again, the underlying principle here with everything I've said is always be hyper aware that you cannot discipline a bird of prey, and you shouldn't attempt to. Always be respectful of their consciousness and their type of thinking, and work with it. If things aren't going well, reassess your training techniques and be respectful of their individual experience, but don't go off being angry at the bird. Just simply do not. Always have that in the forefront of your mind, and you'll always make good decisions. And I hope that going over this is of value to you. If you have any questions, feel free to message me down below, and I'll answer them the best I can. And I hope that you have a wonderful experience building a relationship of trust with your bird. And as always, to all of you out there, happy hawking.